Hello everyone, and thank you for coming back to my channel. This one is going to be the end of the Get a Life series. This is Get a Life number 10. And in Get a Life number 10, I am going to summarize basically everything in my Get a Life series. And the things that I'm saying here, if you've seen all of this series, you probably will have already seen something else that I've said exactly the same in the Get a Life series. Now, I called it the Get a Life series because, in my opinion, as a mechanical person, not one of the high IQ group, I thought that these are things that every human being on the face of the planet should recognize as being true and not a bunch of fantasy or a waste of people's time or anything like that. And I have to admit, I was totally mistaken. But my mistake came about as a result of me not understanding clearly what happened during the First World War. And what happened during the First World War was the Ottoman Empire was absolutely eliminated. And it was eliminated because they were on Germany's side during the First World War, and Germany lost the war. And the Ottoman Empire in my history classes weren't even mentioned. They were insignificant at the time. But there were quite a few Muslim people who I'm sure sincerely believed in Allah, and they were praying to Allah that they would win. And I think that a lot of them thought they would win. When that did not happen, they were very, very disillusioned. And it is unfortunate to realize when Homo sapiens, human beings, become disillusioned, they go to the default attitude of what we were created to do. And as I have said before in my videos, the default attitude of a Homo sapien that runs amok, that is basically doesn't fit up to its standards, and so they go back to a default situation, is to have the attitude, if it doesn't agree with you, kill it. And that is exactly what happened. A group of gentlemen, and they were all men, and one of the reasons that this happened is because the women were not equal in the society. Had they had female input in their attitudes and actions, my opinion is this would have never happened. And they did not have that input, so they defaulted to the input, if it doesn't agree with you, kill it. That, as everyone that's seen my videos will know, is on the opposite end of what I say God created Homo sapiens for, and that was to be a creator. So now they all become destroyers, and everything that goes along with being a destroyer, which is they lie about everything, they misconstrue, they try to broad brush and change the facts a little bit so that it makes them look right and everyone else look wrong. Well, unfortunately, so the gentlemen that lost their way, that did not have the input of females, came up with the attitude of doing things that were very destructive. They were not the truth. They were a lie. And so they spent a lot of time and effort restructuring the best they could the whole religious system of Iran to not be a religion that was trying to submit theirself to Allah, but to be a religion that submitted themselves to Satan, the religion of Islam, and the people that supposedly run the religion. Now, by that, I'm talking about the Ayatollah that is in Iran at the present day. He's an idiot. He is a religious person trying to act like a governmental operative, and that is absolutely ridiculous. The founding fathers of America knew over 200 years ago that religion and government has to be separated. There is no exception. And so that means that the Ayatollah is 200 years behind the curve of what the founding fathers of America knew then. But that's not as bad as it gets, because when caliphs and the sultans were instituted, that was way prior to the Ottoman Empire. That was back when things were more like city-states and smaller communities, when the caliphs would go around and conquer a territory so they would get them to pay annual tribute so they would have an income. Because as everyone in the world knows, everything costs money. And if you don't have money coming in, it can't be supported. And so what they did is this Muslim Brotherhood, which was now twisted in their thinking, and they have the attitude now, if it doesn't agree with us, destroy it. They have now gone away from submitting to Allah, which is what the Islamic religion taught them to do. They took a U-turn, and that's why I've referred to them as you Islamists and you Muslims or Mohammedists, because they took a U-turn. If you take a U-turn, you're turning away from God and you're traveling towards Satan. And that's exactly what they did. So now we have a group of people who are claiming to be leaders of or inspired teachers of the Islam religion that are lying to everyone. They're not serving Islam in any way, shape, or form. And all you have to do is look at one guy, the guy that's running Iran. Allah has already taken one human being away from this earth that I thought the intelligent individuals, the high IQ people of the world, had the responsibility to eliminate, and they did not eliminate him. And he had the title of Butcher of Baghdad, because hundreds of thousands of Iranians were murdered by him. Now, how do we know they were murdered? If a Homo sapien is killed, and that Homo sapien has not killed another Homo sapien, that Homo sapien was murdered. Now, you can call it a government trial that convicted him and assigned him to be executed. That is still murder. They're tyrants. They're destructive human beings. They are opposite of what Allah is. They are not serving Allah in any way. In fact, they're doing exactly the opposite. They're moving away from Allah as far as they can possibly get. That means that all of the things that Homo sapiens have come up with, like truth, justice, responsibility, fairness, love, all of those things are actually opposite with them. They're destroyers, they're haters, and we know that because there's a lady that's an American citizen now that has the website Act for America, and she wrote a book, and she called it Hate. And she said they were doing what they were doing because they hate us. Now, hate is opposite of love, and that is, I've expressed that already, and that is exactly what these people are doing. So when people says, I'm Islamic, you have to express a couple of questions and ask for the answer. And I know the answer that the overwhelming majority of Palestinians believe. And how do I know that? Because I know Palestinian people are in the United States of America, and they're going to our colleges here or associated with people that are going to our colleges because there's a lot of oil money in the Middle East, and they can afford to send their students over here. And she's holding a sign, and this is a young woman. I'm sure she's more than 18 years old, and I don't think there's any chance she's reached 25 yet. So sometimes between the age of accountability for a Homo sapien, which we have 18 years old now, and someone that has lived long enough to know better, was holding a sign that said, kill them all. And they were referring to the people that committed the atrocities on Israel. I have already come up with a solution. If anyone knows that woman, they should go to the woman and say, we want an experiment here. And what this experiment should be is they will sit her down and they say, we're going to get 5 gentlemen, and these 5 gentlemen are going to hold you down, one on each hand and one on each leg, and the 5th one is going to have sex with you. And after they basically ejaculate in you and they've completed their sexual intercourse, they will trade off. After all 5 gentlemen have had sexual intercourse with you, then we will let you go, and you can then thank the 5 gentlemen. And when you ask, why do you have to thank the 5 gentlemen? Because all the 5 gentlemen did is to have sex with you. They did not murder you. Now, you should be thankful that they did not murder you, because when Israel had to experience it, not only did the women get raped, they got murdered. And we know that some of them that were alive, when they were taken prisoner, are no longer alive. And we know that they have been raped as well. So we know the Israelite women have been raped and murdered. So we want you to be raped and then give us the feeling that you have after you experience that activity, and see if you feel the same way about there's nothing wrong with it. And you know something? You will realize now, with a human experience and teaching, that you were stupid. You were all wet. You believed the baloney that the liars told you, and you should question them. You should not believe a lie just because it comes out of someone's mouth. You should always question anything that's the least bit suspect. Have I heard lies? The United Nations representatives from Palestine probably has not told the public one bit of truth. They have distorted 100% of everything that has come out of their mouth. What should happen with those people? They all have to be punished. If you don't punish them, they feel rewarded. If they feel rewarded, they're going to obtain supporters. And we cannot stand supporters. And why not? All you have to do is count the number of truly unaffiliated Palestinians that have been killed as a result of this conflict. Now, you say, oh, they were killed by Israel. No, they were killed by Israel trying to terminate the atrocity that was committed on them. 100% of those killings are attributed to Hamas. If you're too stupid to know that, you fit under the category of stupid. And as I've said in the video number 9 on Get a Life, video number 10 is going to illustrate stupid. Now, I will say up front that one of the most stupid people in the world, and he is so stupid he doesn't even know it, is the Ayatollah that's ahead of Iran. He needs to quit his job. He's an idiot. He knows absolutely nothing, zero, about governing. And we know that because 99% of everything that comes out of his mouth is also a lie. He couldn't say anything truthful if his life depended on it. And his life should depend on it. And that is one of the reasons that I have a problem with the high IQ people. The high IQ means they're not stupid. But I am not stupid. I am just a mechanical person with an average or slightly lower than average IQ. And I know that idiot should have been eliminated from the face of the planet more than 10 years ago. So since that didn't happen, we have a lot of high IQ people that are not doing their job. And if you're not doing your job, you're stupid. Now, everyone now is running around acting like they're important, trying to say, oh, we're going to have an end to this conflict. We're going to bring home the hostages. No, all you're going to do is continue the conflict, because the only way that this conflict can be terminated is 100%, not 99.9, 100% of every person that committed any atrocity or supported in any way anyone else that committed the atrocity, even to tell a lie about what happened afterwards, is support. And if you gave support to anyone from Hamas, you are a destroyer. And 100% of those people need to be punished. How can we end this, truly end this war? It can end in 3 days. And all it has to be is 100% of the Palestinians, just the Palestinians, that say, we are not in favor of Hamas. Hamas won the election, so a lot of people that are Palestinians voted for them. Now, you may have changed your mind, but if you changed your mind, then you're one of these people that should not support Hamas. If you don't support Hamas, you contact Israel or the people that represent Israel, and you give them all of the information you have about every Hamas individual and every Hamas supporter and what they are doing, where they are, and the Israeli government will find 100% of the hostages that are still alive and free them within 3 days, in addition to exterminating the head of Hamas. Sinwar is hiding. He knows that he's going to die and he deserves to die. And he says, I'm not afraid of it. I'm glad you're not afraid of it, because living here on earth with the belief that you're not going to end up in hell is something you should enjoy, because the day you die, you will be in hell in eternity. And why? Because your actions have served Satan, not Allah. If you don't serve Allah, you're not going to heaven. And no Hamas operative or supporter is supporting Allah. Regardless of the lie you tell yourself, supporters and operatives of Hamas have lied to you about, they are all lies. Anything that teaches a Homo sapien to be a destroyer is from Satan. No exceptions. The only way that you can serve Allah is to love your fellow man. And the way you know that is if you can look at your life and say, I have never done in my life anything that I would not want another human being to do to me, you're probably on the right track. Now, does that mean that everyone that is Islamic is a supporter of Satan? Of course not. Most of them believe what they're taught when they were young. They want to believe in God. They want to believe in one God. They want to serve Allah. But in order to serve Allah, you have to be a lover. You have to be a supporter of humanity. You have to want to see humanity flourish. That means any government you're in will prosper. You'll have a good life. Everything will get better day by day, not worse. The only way they get worse is when Homo sapiens make a U-turn and start doing what's wrong. And what's wrong is exactly what the word says. It's not right. If you're not doing what's right, you're doing what's wrong. And if you are a supporter of the Muslim Brotherhood, and the Muslim Brotherhood have been declaimed that they are terrorists, a terrorist organization, it's absolutely true. Everyone that's a destroyer is a part and a supporter of a terrorist organization. And that includes the Ayatollah of Iran. Only supporters of Allah are doing what the Islamic people were taught to do. I'm doing these videos because what God taught me to do. So if you have people that believe anything that I've said, you agree with anything I've said, I would appreciate it if you'd tell your friends, let them subscribe to my channel. I am going to now, in the next series, historic sayings. The one I'm going to start with next time is going to be, there's a sucker born every minute. This is the conclusion of the Get a Life series. The Palestinians can do it in doing what's right and not what's wrong. They were told a lie that you are a snitch if you talk to the Israeli people and give us up in any way. That is a lie. They are terrorists. They are destroyers. They have nothing to do with Allah. They are 100% supporting Satan. And each and every one of them, no matter if they've sacrificed their life and died as the leader of Hamas is going to do, they're all going to hell. You're going to where you're going because of your actions here on earth. And if you have murdered another Homo sapien and not repented and are truly sorry that you did that, you will be in hell as well. And with that, this is going to be the end of the Get a Life series and the end of Get a Life number 10.